Hello everybody, I'm back, Mr. McSquare playing organic Minecraft. And look at this, we found Skulk. And Skulk, I think it's gorgeous. Like it looks like stars. So I added it to the roof of my map room. And there you can see, it just gives a nice little subtle effect that when you're looking around the map room, it's a big starry night. And I like it. You know, it's just those little touches that pop, make your builds pop just that little bit more. So now my map room, it's got a starry sky. So a second project that I tackled was horses. And so here I am outside, out of the crater. And I bring you here because there's the village next door and my villager breeding building. And then I've got a tunnel that I had accessed right from one of the first days. And it's time to clean this tunnel up a bit. So I'm removing the stone floor and just adding a dirt floor. And then the two ways to prevent spawns are to light it up or turn it into partial blocks. And so I'm also going to turn all this into path blocks. It is lit up, but I also like the aesthetic of the path block. And you can see now it's a path tunnel. Then down at the end, I've made a stable. This is right next to the crater itself. And there's 10 stalls. Well, there's 5 right now. Technically there's none right now as they're not finished. Anyway, I'm going to have 10 stalls for horses or mounts. And then using fences, you can see through them, and it gives it a barred look, but light still passes through and you can see what's on the other side. Makes it feel more open. And when you ride a horse, you're 2 blocks tall. But if you're on a horse, you're actually 3 blocks tall. So, just out of that concept, riding the trapdoors above the doors so that the doorways are 3 high. That you'd be able to ride through without worrying about getting damaged at all. It's not a big deal, but just the overall concept that you should have head clearance when you're riding through those doors. So I'll just replicate that all the way down. And then I was thinking, well, you know, if I were a horse, I wouldn't really want to stand on a wooden floor. So I'm going to give them dirt floors instead of wood floors inside the stalls. Like I said, it's the little things to sell your build, make it feel more viable. And again, I just fast forward through the replication of doing this 10 times because there's 10 stalls here. Why 10? Well, because a realm can hold 10 people, and if you're interested in joining, shoot me a comment. We'll see about hooking you up. Okay, horses need water. So we'll put a little water basin for each of them. Well, it's got water, but water on the floor. I think I'm going to raise that up. So it's the exact same concept, but instead of the water being down at the bottom, we'll just give them their trough up a bit. A couple of stairs facing the right way. Makes a nice little bucket. And waterlog them. And just like that, there's a water trough for each of the horses. And I'll replicate that in each of the stalls. So now we've got stalls for 10. And at the end of the hallway, we've got just enough space for a bit of storage. Whether it's saddles or horse armor or decorative hay bales. Just to give it a feel of, yeah, this is a stable. And I just did the exact same thing on both ends. And of course the chests aren't filled full of things right now. Like, we are playing in survival mode and we're accumulating things as we go on. So I've got 5 sets of armor and some leads. And an organized place to put them all. And yeah, we have some saddles. And some boats that we don't need. And that'll eventually be gold carrots in there. And of course, what's stables without horses? Okay, he's already tamed, just got to throw a saddle on him. Not a very good horse. Well, but it's the first one. Well, there's another one over here. He's tamed as well, and if I remember right, he's not as slow. Yeah, we'll keep this one. The other one will probably wind up getting turned into no leather. So we'll keep this guy, put him in storage for now, and then as time goes on, find random good horses. We'll fill up the stable. Maybe throw in a couple donkeys, a llama. I don't know. But for now, we got our first horse, and there's room for 10 in here. There we go, tucked away. Okay, the last thing I want to show is adding farms to the trial chambers. In the last episode, I showed you about secret loot that you could get. Well, not really secret, but bonus loot, let's call it, of enchanted diamond armor and diamond swords. But we also want keys, and really, like, bog arrows are pretty good too. So, bogs, strays, and regular skeletons all drop arrows and bones. And this is a perfect opportunity just to farm that stuff. So we'll get into it. The thing you got to know is that spawners can spawn 1 block below, 1 block above, and at the same height of the spawner itself. So you got to make the spawner 3 high and out 4. In Bedrock Edition, in a 4 diamond, but in Java Edition, it's a 4 square. But we're playing Bedrock, so we only have to do a 4 diamond. And I'll just put the perimeter in red. 1, so that it looks a little bit nicer. And 2, so that everybody viewing at home can see the limit of where you need to build these, the perimeter to control the spawning. So that's out 4 from the spawner itself. And I'm going to have to add a lower level of glass to this because I've only got the same level and the level above right now blocked off. There's 2 spawners close to each other, so there's a little bit of overlap. And we'll adjust with that. And I also recommend don't use glass unless you've got Silk Touch, because every mistake you make, if you're not using Silk Touch, that glass block's going to be gone. So here we are. Fast forward, 1 block below, 1 block above, plus blocks on the same level. It's all glassed up. Got red along the outside and just clear glass in the middles. And of course the center area overlapped. Then, because there's going to be an automatic killing chamber right next to where that scaffolding is, I just marked it so you can see. And then we'll run a hopper line right down into the collection chest. So that copper block is right below the spawner itself, and we're going to just go 1 block off of that and make our hopper line. On top of the hopper line will be the killing chamber. It's been my experience with these that by using a campfire, or even better a soul campfire, you won't destroy the drops. So, like, some people will use lava to kill off the monsters, which works, but the lava could also, like, let's say it's a zombie and you want the rotted flesh, lava could destroy the the rotted flesh. Or if they're skeletons and you want the bones and the arrows and the bows, well, lava's going to destroy that stuff, whereas campfires won't. It's not that a campfire wouldn't destroy it, but the campfire itself is small enough that by the time it hits the campfire, it's going to get sucked through the hopper and down into the collection system. So really, it's not that the fire won't damage it, but the hoppers extracting them is faster. And we'll run the hopper lines down. And I really recommend using glass for these constructions because the spawners activate when they see you, and they can see you through the glass. So I don't have to run to a specific hole. As soon as I'm in the area, if their counter is active, if they're able to see me, they will turn on and I will collect free loot. Okay, the spawner's right underneath that torch. Wow, the block underneath. So that's the kill chamber there for skeletons and zombies of all types. It's only got to be 2 blocks high. Let's stick a roof on it. Standing from the top, the spawner can't see me from this angle. So just standing here to manipulate the line of sight. And that's the killing side. Killing side gets the campfire. Soul campfires do more damage than regular campfires, so they destroy things faster, which makes your farm more efficient. And then when I take this block out, you'll see that the spawner activates because it can see me. Oh, there it goes. And we'll block that off. And there come the spawns. Burn, baby, burn. Give me the free stuff. Okay. Like I said, the 2 spawners are close to each other. And right at that junction point, I haven't finished building it. You can see it, 1 zombie with a golden helmet spawned at an eligible spot in between. I've got to close it off. I'm just bear with me. We're getting there. We're getting there. But you can see otherwise that the mechanics work. But if there's any gaps, the monsters can spawn in the gaps, and then you got to address it. That potion was the drop from the spawner. The rotted flesh was from the zombies, and of course the 1 block that we removed on top of the hopper got sucked into the system. And we got it all back. So this spawner is essentially done. I do have to close off that other gap right below me here, but that farm number 1 is done. And why do farm number 1? Well, we can do all of them. Okay, so we've got this one all glassed up, and we're ready to pop it open. Okay, now because I'm using glass, I left an intentional flaw on the far side of the spawner here, and you can see that, look at that. It's recognizing it as a spawn spot. You can't see it because it's glass, but there's a gap in there. And I've got to close that gap off because those guys are spawning. It's hard to see because it's clear glass. Well, don't worry, we'll get to it. We'll get to it and we'll seal that sucker up. And then, of course, we gotta clean up the few guys that are running around down there. Super simple. It's a bunch of glass resources to do this. Stacks and stacks of glass and colored glass for the perimeter. But it's worth it. Once you got it set up, I now have a supply of arrows and bones. And bones are awesome for all your crop type farms or tree farms when you can just bone meal to fast forward through that stuff. And of course, it's also going to drop potions and trial keys and a little bit of food. All good things. Heck, this also works if I drink an ominous potion. It doesn't matter if it's a normal spawn or an armored spawn from ominous. I'm going to collect it all. Okay, clean up that little bit of a mess from the gap. I filled in the glass gap already. But the last thing I've got to show you, and there's the oh look, a key. There's the collection from the skeleton spawner there, the strays. And you see the copper blocks underneath them? Well, that's the last thing I'm going to pull out. I'm going to replace that with glass as well. I just didn't do it until the end because we want to control the spawning, not have them all spawn and come out the bottom while I'm still building blocks on top. There we go. And these spawners have already been defeated and they're on a 30-minute timer before they reactivate. But 30 minutes from now, they're going to give me free stuff if I'm staying around. And that's my trial chamber farms. Thanks for joining me. Bye.